As Russia rolled out the red carpet, African leaders flocked to the Russian resort city of Sochi, seeking expansion in trade and cooperation in politics and turning to Russia as a promising new partner. President Ramaphosa hailed the event as a great step. Zimbabwe's President Emerson Mnangagwa has been courting the Kremlin since he came to power 2 years ago. He told us Russia had promised investment to help Zimbabwe's crippled economy.
Because of the sanctions we're facing, I think Russia will be even more interested in assisting us, knowing that we have historical relations with Russia. Russia assisted us to have our independence. I don't think they would be interested in seeing us being crippled by these illegal sanctions imposed by us, on us by Western countries.
Those sanctions have been imposed on officials in Zimbabwe for alleged human rights violations. President Mnangagwa has called a public holiday on Friday, declaring it Anti-Sanctions Day. Zimbabwe's anti-sanctions sentiment has been echoed by many here in Sochi. The leaders attending the summit have signed a joint declaration condemning the use of sanctions as coercion. It's a stance that Russia hopes will offer African partners a direct contrast to the West.
Russia has always been committed to the principle of non-interference in the sovereign affairs of other countries. For us, African countries are partners. Our goal is to be present where we see potential for mutual cooperation, but by no means interfering in what is happening there. It's important that there's no foreign expansion in Africa because the development of democracy is especially important.
But that hands-off approach has been met with skepticism in many circles. Critics say Russia is turning a blind eye to corruption and human rights abuses in Africa, and that its approach to Zimbabwe is emblematic of that problem.
Obviously, President Putin is the boss of the Russian Federation. I don't think he would be telling lies to Africa. We believe in what he said to us, that the relations he is promoting with Africa, no ties, no strings at all. And in fact, this is also evidenced by the past relations which we had with Russia. No strings at all. It's actually mutual trade, mutual relationship, mutual cooperation.
Asked when the people of Zimbabwe would feel the benefits of that cooperation, the president batted away the question, blaming Cyclone Idai and drought for the country's misfortunes. As the Sochi summit comes to a close, concrete outcomes are thin on the ground. But Russia's brand of diplomacy appears to have resonated, paving the way for a new kind of partnership. Julia Chapman, Sochi.